everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, So Cute by Katie. I'm Katie Bertrand, and today I'm going to be showing you how to alter the shoulders on dresses. I've got one beaded formal dress and another kind of cocktail dress, but I want to show you how to fit it, and then I'm going to take it off my dress form and show you how to sew and pull up your shoulders, and how to correct something that is a little bit ill-fitting to make it fit your body style better. So if you're watching, be sure to like and subscribe our channel and share it with your friends. If you have any comments or questions, please put those below. I'd love to help you any way I can with any type of sewing or fitting alteration issues you may have. So let's go ahead and get started. I have two dresses, both of which need the shoulders fit. So let me slide this one back a little bit. So I'm going to bring this one a little bit closer to the camera. I have already fit one of the shoulders, so I'm going to get behind this. But when you are fitting a dress, you want to make sure that the shoulder seams fit on your shoulder bone, which you can feel right there. So this side I have already sewn. I have already fit this on the client, and I've already sewn it. Now, because this is fully beaded, there is beads everywhere. If you've ever done any type of bead work, if you unstitch the beads, they're all going to go. They're all attached. Sometimes they are sewn on a sheer layer. These are all sewn together. So I did hand sew this, and I will show you how to do that. So I'm going to turn the dress form so you can see it. So what I have done is to get this shoulder, this dress actually had shoulder pads in it, and we definitely don't need shoulder pads anymore. They're kind of out of style, but that was kind of holding it up, giving it its shape. And so we took those out, but then the shoulder, the seam just fell down. Like if this is the shoulder seam, you know, it was falling on the client down here. So all that I did is I took the excess fabric on the shoulder piece here, and as you can see where my pins are, and let me get a little bit closer to you here. I have just pulled up the shoulder, kind of put it on the shoulder seam, which is right here, and then put my pins. Now I'm going to mark this so I can unpin it and just kind of show you the process, because this is pinned where I need it to fix it. But I do want to kind of show you how I pulled this up. Let me just mark this right here. Okay, so no, I didn't. Still stuck through both layers. Okay. Okay. Here is our shoulder bone. Our seam is down here. So what I did was I just kind of pinched up the excess like this and got the seam where I wanted it on the shoulder bone, and then I put my pins to pull up this excess. And then you have to go around the shoulder, you know, and front and back, to pull up this excess so you know how much needs to come out. So that is pulled up. Now, I did not go all the way underneath the arm. I did taper it kind of to the back seam right here, just down here, because we really just want to pull it up, and then we're not really moving the entire sleeve on this particular garment. So let's go ahead. I'm going to back this one up for a minute. I'll show you the next one, and then we'll take them off our dress forms, and I will show you how to fix them. Okay, so this dress, let me take this off. As you can see here, I've pinned one side. This is the excess amount that this needs to come up to fit better, because it's too droopy, it's too big in the underarm and too big in the bodice. So by pulling this up, because the client is a little bit more short-waisted, a lot of times you pull it up here, that solves the problem for the armhole, the bust area, and many other places. But the problem is, we're getting into the sleeve, and we don't necessarily want to take the sleeve up, but we're just taking up the shoulder. So what we have to do is take the sleeve, this piece right here, completely off. Okay, so I've unstitched that. I just have this pinned on the inside just so you can see it. So what I'm doing, and it just kind of depends on what all you need to do. Now this has a little satin trim around the neckline right there. There is a seam on this underneath piece, but not a seam in the lace. So I'm going to go ahead and just make a seam through both pieces. So even though there's not one in the lace, it was cut on all in one piece, I'm just going to go ahead and make a seam because no one will know the difference. So don't stress over that. People aren't going to question, hey, there was no seam there before. They're not going to know. The other thing is you have to be very careful taking off this little satin ribbon trim, especially this lace and the knit underneath is very stretchy. So I'm going to leave this intact. I'm not going to undo it. You can if you want to, but sometimes it starts to fray and it loses its shape. So I'm going to make sure that I keep this part lined up. You can see right here. When I fold that, I want that lined up. But as you can see here, this is longer. It comes out here and then juts up there. That's okay because we're going to fix that once we, let me get this back. Once we put the sleeve cap back on, we will round that out. So I'd rather it not match here and then match up on that satin trim right there. And then we will sew our sleeve back in. Now this is a little bit different because it does not go all the way around. As you can see, it's kind of a, half circle shape. So it's just more of a cap sleeve. It doesn't actually attach underneath the arm. So it's a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and take these off the dress form, and then I can show you how to fix this and actually sew it together. So 1 minute here. Carefully get them off my dress form. Okay, so let me get the camera angled back on our table here and we will talk about how to get it fixed. All right. Okay, so right here, I'll show you this. This is the neckline, that satin trim right here, and we really want to make sure that this lines up, okay? So as you can see on the underneath side, here is the seam in the lining, but there wasn't one in the lace, so we're not concerned about that. I did take the sides, I'll make sure this is lined up really well. And as you can see, this does not, because it's a little bit wider in the back than it was the front. So what I will do is just do a straight stitch right here, and then I'm going to serge out this excess right here just so it's not so bulky. And then on the, I'll flip it back over, and then I'm going to just top stitch right here. There's top stitching on the edge of this ribbon, but I'm going to top stitch it just so that that little seam right there lays flat and isn't flipping forward, and then we'll sew it so that it is facing towards the back. Then to put our sleeve back in, you want to take the sleeve, you're going to fold it in half to find the center point. Get a pin here. There's our center point, and we're going to put, let's see, sorry, right sides. So that center point is going to line up where our seam is. So even though this isn't sewn yet, we'll pretend that it is. And then we'll probably end up trimming that little piece off. And then you're just going to match up your edges. And before, the bottom of the sleeve stopped here, so it is going to extend down a little bit further, but it's still not going to go all the way around. And so this is the inside. You're just going to stitch right here, and then if you have a serger, you're going to want to serge and finish that off, and if you don't, a zigzag stitch just so there's no fraying on the inside. So that's how you would put that back in. And it's very simple to do. So on our other dress, I want to show you how, let me grab it real fast. I want to show you how how I sewed by hand the other shoulder seam. So, okay. So here is what I have pinned. You know, we have this excess right here. So I've pulled up, I mean, that's at least a ½ inch. I don't have my little ruler. Yes, I do. So as you can see, so I've pulled up close to 3/4 of an inch. So in total, that's coming up 1.5 inches. So what I will do, since I've got my pins already, you want to have your pin going through and then mark on the other side so that you've got 2 pins, because you're going to pull that in. And I had done this before. Let me grab another pin. So here's my pin holding it. I'm just flipping it over, and right where that pin comes through on the other side, I'll place my other pin so that I can unstitch it here, or not unstitch it, unpin it so it unfolds. Okay, so now you can see there's the actual distance, 1.5 inches right there. So what you will do is on the inside, you can see where your pins meet. You're going to basically do that same tuck, just pulling all the fabric to the inside. And you want to pin it together and just go around and match those pins. But as you can see on my other shoulders, what I've already done, I did this by hand because of all the beading. I couldn't put it on the machine because it would just end up breaking the needle. So I've got all my excess. Here are my stitches. You do want to make sure you've got, if you have to hand sew, I definitely recommend doing it on the machine just to hold it better, but on something beaded, sometimes you just gotta do it the old-fashioned way. But as you can see, I've tapered it. It's skinny right here, and then it goes out and then gets wider. So as you can see with the ruler, it's like 1/4 inch, and then it gets bigger to 1 inch, and then right at the sleeve cap, we've got 3/4 of an inch, so 1.5 inches total, and then pull that in. And then here is the outside. You can't even see that. You may have a little bit of gathering. That's okay. It just depends on how you have to do it. But if you're taking up, we did not take up the shoulder of this, this seam. We just we wanted to pull the sleeve up on the shoulder bone. So this one's slightly different. We didn't actually touch this seam, but we just pulled up the sleeve up on the shoulder better. So that's how we fixed this one. So just showing the inside again, do that by hand because of the beading. But that is a big, usually a big problem on a lot of dresses, if they're hanging too low. Get you back up here to me. But that's a great way to fix a lot of fitting issues. It's like if things are gaping underneath the arm, they're too big in the chest, typically pulling them up in the shoulders usually alleviates a lot of that. So I always kind of start at that point with shoulders or straps, that kind of thing, if the bodice isn't looking quite right. So pull it up in the shoulders first, and then you may still have some gapping right here, but now you've got it where, if there's darts or something, darts are hitting the bust in the right spot, things of that nature. So shoulders first, and then, under the arm, if you have to pull in any excess and then fit it in the arms, or if there's any other type of seam that you need to adjust there. But just wanted to show you real quick how to go about if you have that issue with a garment that you're trying to fit, and then how to sew it and put it back together. So thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me on my channel today. And if you have any questions, please put it in the comments below. Would love to help you out if you have any fitting issues, or if you're doing garment alterations or have other questions. I do alterations for a business and embroidery, so do lots of sewing all the time, and be happy to help you any way I can. So thanks again for watching. Be sure to hit subscribe. Be sure to hit the little bell if you want to be notified when our next video is posted, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.